Aion is the Hellenistic deity associated with time, the orb or circle encompassing the universe, and the Zodiac. The time represented by Aion is unbounded, in contrast to Chronos as empirical time, divided into past, present, and future. He is thus the god of the ages, associated with the mystery religions, such as the mysteries of Cybele, Dionysus, Orpheus, and Mithras. In Latin, the concept of the deity may appear as Evum or Cyclical. He is typically in the company of the Earth Mother Goddess, such as Telos or Cybele, as seen on the Parabiago plate. Aion is usually identified as the nude or semi-nude young man, with a circle representing the Zodiac, or eternal or cyclical time. But because he represents time as a cycle, he may also be imagined as an old man, hence Alpha, Omega. In the Dionysiaca, Nonnos associates Aion with the Horai, and says that he changes the burden of old age, like a snake who sloughs off the coils of his useless old scales, rejuvenating while washing in the swells of the laws of time. This figure is certainly shedding his skin, isn't he? And moving through the ages. The imagery of the twining serpent, which I have to remind you, originated in Babylon 600 BC. It is connected through the hoop or wheel of the Ouroboros, a ring formed by a snake holding the tip of its tail in its mouth. The 4th century AD Latin commentator Servius notes that the image of a snake biting its tail represents the cyclical nature of the year. In his 5th century work on hieroglyphics, Ouroboros makes a further distinction between a serpent that hides its tail under the rest of its body, which represents Aion, and the Ouroboros that represents the cosmos. Martianus Capella, 5th century AD, identified Aion with Chronos, Latin Saturnus, whose name caused him to be theologically conflated with Chronos, time, in the same way that the Greek ruler of the underworld, Pluto, was conflated with Plutus, meaning wealth. Martianus presents Chronos Aion as the consort of Rhea, Latin, Ops, as identified with Physis. In his highly speculative reconstruction of Mithraic cosmogony, A. Franz Commont positioned Aion as ultimate time, sometimes represented as cyclical, Chronos, or Saturn, as a god who emerged from primordial chaos, and who, in turn, generated heaven and earth. That doth sound familiar. The deity is represented as the leontocephaline, the winged lion-headed male figure, whose nude torso is entwined by a serpent. He typically holds a scepter, keys, or a thunderbolt. This figure of time, though to us a completely obscure role in Mithraic theology, because this figure is in retinue of religion, standing in the back, standing in the shadows, like a shadow in the night. Aion is identified with Dionysus in Christian and Neoplatonic writers, but there is no reference to Dionysus as Aion before the Christian era. Epiphanius, however, calls Aion the son of Zeus, and I call it the son of Zu. The Suda identifies Aion with Osiris. In Ptolemaic Alexandria, at the site of a dream oracle, the Hellenistic syncretic god Serapis, and who was identified with Aion Plutonius. The epithet Plutonius marks a functional aspect shared with Pluto, consort of Persephone and ruler of the underworld in the Eleusinian tradition. Epiphanius says that Alexandria, Aeon's birth from Kore the Virgin, was celebrated on the 6th of January. On this day, and at this hour, the Virgin gave birth to Aion. This is very similar to Eros. The date, which coincides with Epiphany, brought the New Year's celebration to a close, completing the cycle of time that Aion embodies. The Alexandrian Aion may be a form of Osiris Dionysus, who is said to be reborn annually. His image is marked with crosses on his hands, knees and forehead. X in oracular cult equals 7, which means on his hands, knees and forehead we find the numbers 777. It is not 666. That was last time, and this is progression. A Giles Quispel conjectured that the figure resulted from integrating the Orphic Fanes, who, like Aion, is associated with the coiled serpent, the Zodiac, and the cosmic egg, into Mithraic religion in Alexandria, and that he assures the eternity of the city. The syncretic Aion of the perpetuity of Roman rule, and emperors such as Antoninus Pius issued coins with the legend of Aion, whose female Roman counterpart was Aeternitas. Roman coins associate both Aion and Aeternias with the phoenix as a symbol of rebirth and cyclical renewal. This figure moves with the empire. Aion was among the virtues and divine personifications that were part of a late Hellenic discourse, in which they figure as creative agents in grand cosmological schemes. Emphasis on scheme. He is one of the 7 aspects of God, and he has multiple roles, which means the 7 are one. The significance of Aion lies in his malleability. He is a fluid conception, a god of the waters, through which various ideas about time and divinity converge in the Hellenistic era in the context of monotheistic tendencies. I am a jealous god. I think it is about time to look into the ancient comet legends, because I believe a cataclysmic event is being worshipped in the place of God. A form of darkness may have been attached to this comet. As you will see, it appears to have a similar description to Aion. Even Mithra was born from a rock. Roch is an alternative name for the divine storm bird, aka Anzu, Zu, Pazuzu, the thunderbird, which may be a meteor or comet, the descriptions of which would be something riding a fiery chariot through the heavens. The word Aion in Greek could mean the alpha magician that conforms to the seven. But seven also means weapon, so it would be the alpha magician that conforms to the flood storm weapon. Or possibly, the alpha magician who cuneiforms the seven. This is very interesting, as the flood myth is written in cuneiform. There appears to be a power to the written word, and there is a god of literature. V means weapon. This is the lion-faced god. Please hit that notification bell to ensure that you are notified of each upload. Share, like, comment and subscribe to support the channel for more ancient mystery.